Hi guys, good evening. Nice to see everyone. Welcome to another live Hemingway Jones pen show. Always a pleasure to be here with you all. Thanks for the likes. Already lots of likes. I appreciate that. It certainly helps the YouTube algorithm. Let people know that we're here. So, very nice. Also, want to invite you all to subscribe. If you've been watching this channel and you like what you see, please subscribe. Love to have you along for the ride. We always enjoy getting some new voices in the channel, in the comments. So it should be super fun to have you. And also, membership is available. Appreciate if you consider becoming a member. So, great way to help the channel, keep the channel on the air, and help keep the lights on and pay for things. So, I'd appreciate that. And it's also a nice way to get a little extra bonus material. We do fun blooper reels. I do some updates. Sometimes I play guitar. Sometimes I just chime in randomly, share my anxieties, my hopes, my dreams. It's a lot of fun behind the scenes. We have a lot of lovely members here this evening. I see Kate's here. Hello, Kate. And Jim Carrigan. Kurt, my man, Kurt. One of the nicest fellows I know out there. So lovely people in the comments. I see Debbie's out there. Terry. Hello, Terry. So, fun show tonight. We're going to set up my Kaweco Bronze, which should be a lot of fun. And I have that here. We're going to talk a bit about what's going on. I might tell some stories and some other fountain pen news. I always like to tell you guys which video is coming up. And Friday's video is another one of my favorites. Hopefully you all caught the Wes Anderson style pen review of the Kaweco Sport, which I put up last week. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed making that video. I thought more people would see it, but I guess you never know what does and does not catch on. And I know a lot of people are busy with their vacations right now, but hopefully if you haven't seen it, go scroll down, check it out. It's a super fun video. So that was last week. Now, what's coming up this week? Well, another very, very exciting video. This one is a list of my top 5 mac and cheese pens, which is super fun. It's super cheesy, if you will. And I go through what a mac and cheese pen is, although I sort of coined the phrase during one of our lives, and then again on the Huga video, or maybe I did it on the Huga video and then I did it on the live. I can never remember these things. Time isn't really sequential. It's sort of just a big ball of wibbly wobbly. You know how it is. But in any case, mac and cheese pens is a concept I have. You can learn about it on Friday. I made 5 choices of what my mac and cheese pens are, and I'm really interested to hear what your choices are. So there's a lot of great pens out there and a lot of stories to tell. One of the sort of currents of this channel is I am completely unaffiliated. I mean, I certainly have friends who own pen shops, but I don't sell pens. I don't have a pen shop. I don't care if you buy a pen or you don't. I'm in this for the experience. I want to share the experience with you guys. I want to urge you all to seek your own experiences, not your own purchases necessarily. It's not about materialism. It's not about what you own. It's what you share, what you experience, and what you're curious about. So that's what drives me. Lately, I'm not always like this, but I've lately sort of lost my appetite for more expensive pens. It was time for my birthday, was about a month ago in the middle of May. And as any good spouse does, when my wife said, "What would you like for your birthday?" I told her. I didn't keep it quiet. I'm going to take a minute to thank Laddie, my lad gardener, super chat for $25 from Lad Gardner. Thank you, Laddie. I really appreciate it. Super chats are very much appreciated. They do help keep the lights on. So thank you, Laddie. You are a legend, one of the lovely people, and a member of this channel. So thank you for the super chat. Thank you all for your super chats and your likes. I really appreciate them. So I was saying that as a husband, if your wife says, "What do you want for your birthday?" and you say, "Oh, I don't know, nothing," you're just making their lives miserable. So I think it's always best as a spouse to just say something, whatever it is, and help them out. Maybe send them a link, And my anti-materialism takes a break for holidays. So I was really considering I was thinking about getting the Visconti Lotus Garden because I really like that pen. I think it's very pretty. I think it's a bit overpriced for a resin pen, but I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous pen. So I was very tempted to get that. There were two things that held me back. One is for a resin pen, and I don't think it had any special lava or anything in it, I couldn't see spending over $1,000 for it. Secondly, I'm still learning my Homo sapiens Bronze Age I got for Christmas. I still feel like I'm acclimating myself to that pen. So to come out and get another Visconti, another heavy-hitting Visconti, just felt a bit much. So, and then I was really curious about the Kaweco Bronze. So I said, let's go with the bronze. And my wife, lovely as she is, went and, found it on her own. I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story here because there's always a story and there's always, hopefully, a happy ending, right? So in this particular case, she went to get it and, we didn't I don't know, how do I put this delicately, sort of call in favors or anything with anybody. She just went and she bought it from a pen shop and they showed that it was going to be in stock because many places have sold out of them. And they said, well, we'll be restocking soon. So she said to me, it's going to restock. You're not going to have it for your birthday, I'm afraid. We're going to go to dinner. Don't worry about it. But it should come shortly thereafter. Well, a few weeks went by and I was just kind of like, hey, honey, whatever happened to that pen? And she said to me, well, they keep saying it's going to be in stock, but it's not. And I said, well, sometimes in these instances, when it's a limited edition, it's not going to be in stock. So maybe you should talk to X, who owns the company, who I know. And she did, and they sheepishly said, oh, no, you know what? It was a glitch in the software system. It kept saying it was going to be restocked, but it's not. We sold out of it. So sorry. We are all done with those. So that was sad. So this is when I kind of called in a favor, and I said, honey, why don't you reach out to Brendan at Atlas Stationers? Brendan's a sweet guy, and, no different than you guys could do. You could all call Brendan, too. And I said to my wife, give Brendan a call, see if he has it. Sure enough, Brendan came through, where another pen company had us hung up in the restock online inventory system. So very happy. And from that point, it arrived a few days later, and the box is actually opened because my wife checked to make sure that it was the right pen. But today, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everyone, we are going to set it up a little. We're going to play with it. What do you think? It's always fun, right? I'm going to fix my chair. All right. Allie J says, Atlas to the rescue. Absolutely. Brendan Schmidt to the rescue. Debbie says Atlas is a great story. It truly is. He's a lovely, lovely, lovely guy. One of my favorite people in the pen community. All right, so here we are. Ooh. Can I get this all in frame? Yes, I can. Kaweco. You guys know the little sardine can. Pretty exciting, right? Are you guys excited? Show me how excited you are with some likes. Wouldn't that be nice? I would appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, so we are now going to reveal one of my favorite things about Kaweco. I love these sardine cans, guys. I love these cases. I always keep one handy, not just for sort of carrying these things around, but also because they're just so charming and I just like them. And I also use them when I film. You see them in my filming a lot. So it's a big moment when we open it, right? Drum roll. Okay. Something weird outside. Sorry. Here we go. You ready? The big moment. Okay. So this is fun. We have some things obscuring the view. This is a sticker. Stickers are nice. You know who gets stickers in this house, right? My daughter. She's 6. She gets all the stickers. All the stickers. Oh, wow. Kate. The lovely Kate with a super sticker for $10. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Wow. Thank you so much. That is very, very generous, Kate. Thank you. Kate is one of the people I know. We met at the Commonwealth Pen Show, and hopefully we'll see each other again this year at the Commonwealth Pen Show. But Kate, thank you so much for helping to keep the lights on. It is very much appreciated. Thank you. Okay, so then we have this lovely history of Kaweco. Have you ever actually read these, guys? It's really charming. I love this. I put this in a lot of the videos of Kaweco when I do their background stories. It's a German Shepherd holding one of their pens. It was one of their early ads, and it's super cute. Thanks again, Kate. It means a lot, really. Thank you. Thank you so much. So this tells you basically how to set up your pen, which is really nice. And not just your pen, your pencil, your pen, your fountain pen. So lots of fun stuff in there. But you know what? I feel like I'm stalling. So you see this, but it's obscured once again. And I'm going to tell a story. I'm going to cut back from this for a second. So one of the reasons that I bought this pen is because Alicia, Adventure Denali, when we were having our chat live, and you can scroll back and see that in the history if you want to watch it, she showed this pen and it had this like ephemeral light on it, and it looked like John Belushi and the Blues Brothers when he decides to get the band back together and he's glowing with this comical light. And it just really drew me to this pen. So that was probably the moment when I said, I really want to have this. And if you remember at the time, when I was really big on saying, don't just get a pen because it's a different color or anything else. But she pushed back. She was saying, no, this is a different thing. It's different material, different experience. So different. Okay, now back to the show. Okay, guys. So we have this nice protective bag, and the pen is inside. So here we have it. Ladies and see? Do you see it? Look, it's the Ark of the Covenant. It belongs in a museum. Look at that. It's glowing. It's so beautiful. So, no floaty ghosts, but look at that, huh? It does hold the light, doesn't it? And just think of bronze, right? The Bronze Age. You know what video's coming, guys. You know I'm doing a high concept video on the Bronze Age. the Bronze Age, when most of the major religions were established, when writing was invented, when civilization, agriculture, literature, permanent settlements all came to be. Bronze, the Bronze Age. There's no Brass Age. There's an Iron Age. Maybe an iron pen's coming next. But look at that. There's a Stone Age too, but I guess we got Visconti for that. What do you guys think? I see some nice comments. People saying it's pretty. It is pretty, right? So, conveniently, I brought the brass. Here's brass. Here's bronze. So you can see them side by side. So first off, what do you notice? Is it just me, or is the bronze much more gold, whereas the brass is a bit more yellow, a little duller, but not in a pejorative way. I still love the brass. By the way, this is a bronze clip, so it might go with the bronze pen, but it may not, and I'll tell you why. Because my wife also got me this. What do you think of this, guys? You know what this is, right? I'm trying to keep in focus. There we go. It is a Kaweco gold-plated clip. What do you think of that? So now I need to decide, do I put the gold-plated on here and put this on here, or do I put the gold-plated on here? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the gold-plated on here. It looks really cool, guys. Look at this. Am I being serious? I am. I'm sliding it on right now. That's it. This is your new home clip. What do you think? Let me see. Where do I want it, though? See, nerd me, right? This says brass, the clip, and then the clip. I think I like that. I like that it would clip and say brass there. So let's do the same with this. Shall we? Okay, it says bronze. So we want it here, right, guys? Am I wrong? Am I crazy? Am I a little crazy? Oh, there we go. Oh, that was it right there. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Gorgeous. Right? I think that is checking all my OCD boxes. How about you guys? Gold on brass, Allie J says. I am saying gold on bronze. I'm afraid. I respect your choice, but being here now, it looks really good with the shiny, guys. The dull looks good on the brass, and the shiny looks really good on the bronze. I'm kind of digging it, I'll be honest. Okay, so we have more fun in store with this pen. See, what do you think now? I see what you're saying, though, because if you want it to be like yellow on yellow, you'd put it on the brass. But I'm going to go with this. And also, both new. I kind of like it. Very sharp. Thank you. Okay, we're going to set the brass aside. Not before I show it to you, though. Nice and tarnished. Okay. So one of the drawbacks of this new pen is it's a medium. It's a medium. All right. I like medium, as you guys probably know. However, there's a nib I like better on Kaweco than any other Kaweco nib, and my lovely wife bought that for me. This, ladies and gentlemen, is hard to open. No. It is the 1.1 stub on a different housing. A different housing. But you know what? That's fine. That is fine. It'll work just the same. Okay. Time to swap these bad boys, right? So, let's pull that out. Just a little twisty. Little twisty. It comes right out. This pops. See that? It just falls right off the feed. Try to keep them straight. This is the 1.1. There's the feed. Now this we need to get out of this feed. Just pulls straight out. The Kawecos are really nice because the fins are kind of far back. It's really hard to damage them. Your finger just sort of fits right in there. So very nice. These two feeds are identical, which is nice, but I'm going to keep the one that went with the pen straight. So I am going to pick up this 1.1 here, drop it in. There's a little slot, guys. There's a little slot right down the bottom. So it slides right in and then it rests there. It's very comfortable. Oops, it slid off. I wanted to show you the back, but just give you a sense. Because when we put it in, we want to make sure it's nice and centered on the feed, right? I know for a lot of you this is elementary, but for some of you, you've never done this kind of stuff, and maybe this will help give you the courage. And I say that as a person who doesn't have the courage to eyedrop. Although I almost got the stuff ready to do it tonight, but I didn't have a chance. I was very busy at work today. Okay, so I just put that in. Now if you'll forgive me for a second, I am just going to check it with the loop. Do I look weird without my glasses? Just want to make sure it's nice and centered. Oh, it's so pretty, guys. It says 1.1 on it. Oh, this is beautiful. Since 1883, Germany. Oh, not quite centered. Now it is. Beautiful. I love this stuff. I love it. I got new glasses. I don't know if anybody noticed. New glasses, new frames. Much better. I don't have to put my readers on. So, okay. Back to two perspectives, shall we? All right. So now, we're going to put this together. Stick it back in there. Now, the one thing I don't have is a converter. Ooh, did you hear that? Ooh, that's nice. Guys, listen. That's a good noise. By the way, can you hear the creepers out back? They're so loud. The reason that they're loud is that my porch is next to me and I can't close it. You know why I can't close it? Because my cat is out there. She's on the futon on the porch and she's just languorously immobile, just staring off into space as cats do. And she's probably listening to the creepers herself. So I can't close the door. It would be quieter if I could. The show is very important, but there's nothing more important than the cat. It's Ophelia's world, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So we just pushed that bad boy on there. It made a pretty nice click as the point of it breaks through. I don't really like cartridges, to be honest. One of the things I don't like about them is sometimes it takes a while for the ink to go from the cartridge down to the nib. And I really like with converters or piston filled, you can flush it with ink and then you can expel a few drops and prime it and it's ready to go. Some pens you have to hold, and sometimes I hold them upright like this for like an hour before ink gets down there properly. I don't know if that's the case with this pen, but we're going to find out. But I certainly wouldn't take points off because that's just how these things are. But I am going to take this medium nib and I'm going to put it back in here. Okay. So now I have a medium nib as a backup. Super easy to switch, barely an inconvenience. Okay, we'll put that out of reach. And then I figured maybe we should try it. What do you guys think? But first I want to check your comments. Yup, Antoinette. It's the cat's world. We're all just living in it. Yup, very true. She's not stalking the bugs, Debbie. She is sitting there. She's very cute, though. I thought she might sort of get involved in these proceedings, but she has not. 343 Overland says, the one thing I don't like from Kaweco, the short converters are not a great product. I can't disagree with you, my friend. I can show you one, though, in case any of you haven't encountered them. I believe there's one in here. I could switch it. See, there we have it. There we have it. So this is a bit fiddly between you and me. You put it in the ink. It's a straight pump. You just press it down. Whoopsie. And it goes into the ink, and then you pull it up. And it's the pulling up that's difficult. But one of the reasons is, I think I told you guys before, I'm super paranoid about my hands. I mean, I don't have very attractive hands. You've seen them in the videos. But I don't like any white in my fingernails. So I always have nail clippers handy to get rid of any white. It's just an obsession of mine. But see, no white. Always have nail clippers around. Here they are. The best nail clippers in the world. These are from Swiss Army Victorinox. Flat. They're like $17 or $12, something like that. I have 2 or 3 pairs. They're sort of always around. And they're super handy. See, you just flip it over, ready to go. And then they're very flat. You can take them with you. I have a set here. I have them in my bag. And I believe I have a set in the car. But that set is missing. That's why I'm saying I believe. Because I'm confident they're going to show up again. But they're currently listed as missing in action. But I love these. I probably will buy another pair at some point. I highly recommend them. Okay. So there you have it. Oh, look, I wrote on myself. You get points for that in the fountain pen world. So that's what the converter looks like. I'll probably get one for the bronze. Here is the bronze. We've had the cartridge in there for a couple minutes. Let's grab some paper, shall we? Some of my favorite paper is from Clairefontaine, which I believe is owned by J.R.Bond. And if it's not owned by J.R.Bond, they definitely use the same distributor in the United States. So there we have it. See, I was doing some writing for the channel, but we're going to use this area, okay? So let's see what happens. I'm not going to hold it against this if it doesn't work. You know, sometimes you have to wait, but maybe it will. Let's see what happens. Nothing yet. See, that's the problem. I really kind of don't like... cartridges. So you know what I'm going to do? You guys know what I'm going to do, right? You know I'm going to do it dirty, too. But this is what I'm going to do. They're both blue, right? How off can they be? What could possibly go wrong? Quite a bit. Let's see what happened. Now I know this is J.R.Bond. Eclat de Saphir. So I can Make sure this bad boy writes. But see, this is where it's hard. See this? I'm trying to pump, and it's not easy. But you get a lot of ink in there. I mean, a lot in quotations. I mean, a lot for the size. Look at that. You see what I mean? For the size, that's a lot. Sorry for the noise. I would have had something ready, but I wasn't expecting to do this. But the show must go on, and go on it shall. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you, and be honest, don't worry about hurting my feelings. Is there anything that you've ever seen as beautiful as this bronze pen next to this? Next to this. I mean, this is a whole lot of brass and bronze. Look at that. Isn't that super fun? Love it. Okay. Let's move this bad boy. This is why everyone should keep an inkwell on your desk with your favorite ink. Find a nice vintage inkwell. Put it back into service. I bet this thing was sad for decades. Just sad. Waiting for someone to come along to use it again. Okay, let's see what happens. Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm happy. Now I'm happy. I'm happy. Oh, this is nice, see? Oops. That is me. The nib is fine. Sometimes with the stubs, you don't catch the edge right. So you sort of have to experiment a little bit. I like to keep it the edge, the flat, plain. Well, let's just take the line at the edge and put it parallel to this line. You get a pretty neat up and down like that. But you do have to see where the contact points are. Which way to hold it. And you can experiment a little bit. You can rotate. If you like it a little bit more to the side, you can do like that kind of thing. That's pretty nice, right? That is pretty nice. I have to go down here. I think inkwell's one word, but not today. What do you see? It does nice looking calligraphy, doesn't it? Doesn't it, guys? 343 Overland asks, how long can you keep ink in the well before it dries or starts to evaporate out of condensation? Is there much of a gasket in the lid? Very good question. Let's take an aside, shall we? I can never get tired of speaking of vintage inkwells. By the way, I would have a collection of 1,000 vintage inkwells if I found 1,000 more as cool as this one. But because there's only this one, I only have this one. And I haven't seen anything that compares. I could sing to this, nothing compares to you. Thanks for the likes, guys. Appreciate it. And thank you so much for the super chats. I appreciated those too. Thank you. I want to make sure I say that enough. Okay, so it doesn't have much of a gasket at all. It is a piece of metal laying on a piece of metal. But I can tell you in practice, I go through a lot of ink. This is Eclat de Saphir. This is my favorite ink color, bar none. Although the deep blue, the bleu de profondeur, however one says it, is rising. Its stock is rising. But I use this up in a couple weeks, probably 2 or 3 weeks. And then I refill it from a 100 milliliter bottle that I have. So it doesn't seem to evaporate. And it seems to always be there when I need it. It doesn't seem to lose its viscosity. By the way, don't these sort of look like the figures on the Ark of the Covenant in Indiana Jones? Since we were speaking of that earlier. All right. So I'm getting inky, but that's okay. All right. This is gorgeous. Look at the iconography on this. Look at that. So beautiful. 100 years old. Everyone needs a vintage inkwell. There's a lonely vintage inkwell out there that wants to make your life brighter. Won't you give it a home? All right, let's have a little more fun with this, shall we? I think we should. It's pretty nice, guys. What do you think of this 1.1 nib? You gotta admit. Oh, Terry with the super sticker. Thank you so much, Terry. You are the best. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. So generous. Keeping the lights on. Keeping the lights on in the channel. YouTube's not easy. You know, we make videos. YouTube makes a lot of money off them. We make a tiny bit of money. They take a third of the member money. It's really not easy. And they don't really push my videos beyond my subscribers, which is a shame. Because I'd love to meet some more people. But I love making the videos I make. I love talking to you guys, especially on Tuesday night. So I'm not going to stop. I'm like, you know, Miss Marilyn Darling does that. Always writes thank yous. But there you go, Terry. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And let me tell you, Terry did that generously, even though I forgot to put both of the G's in her name in the closing credits. So that was very kind of you. So I'm going to definitely do a full review of this pen. I'm very much going to focus on the materials. It does feel different. It's hard to explain it. I would say it's close to how people speak about energies. You know how people will say that something has a particular type of energy? I would say the brass feels nautical to me. The bronze feels a bit lighter. It feels a little bit more like it's transcending its composite parts into this sort of alchemic, glistening pen that somehow feels lighter than its metal suggests. Something about the way it shines. Look at that, guys. It is amazing. I kind of wish I had a gold nib. I wonder if the 1.1 stub comes in gold. I don't think it does. That's fun, right? What do you think of Clay de Saphir? It's a great color, right? Do you like J. Herbin as much as I do? Next week, there's a J. Herbin video coming out on my channel. Super excited. Super excited. Next week also, I will be in New York. So I am thinking of doing a live from like a pub or something. So that should be interesting. Because I think I'm still going to do the live next week. But I'm going to do it from New York. Maybe I'll do it strolling around. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I'm going to do something. So next week, live in New York. Also, if I can get Penboy Roy in front of a camera while I'm in New York, because evidently he lives in New York, maybe I'll do something with him at some point. Wouldn't that be fun? Speaking of which, I'm recording with him and Tom Odo tomorrow. So that should be super, super fun. 50 grams, is that how much this weighs? It feels somehow lighter. So there you have it. That's the unboxing and the setup. We swapped nibs. We did something. There's people cringing out there. There are people saying, I can't believe what Hemingway Jones just did. He swapped a converter while it was still full of ink for a cartridge. He is a fountain pen madman. Hardly, right? But you know what? I had to do it. I had to know what it was like. I needed free-flowing ink. And I prefer the converters. Let's see how it does in the brass. Shall we? Remember, this has a feed that's full. Very similar. You can tell it's a different color, actually. Maybe it's already mixing. Let's go to a different page. What's really fun is if you like this nib better, you could swap it. I actually think this nib on the brass doesn't have as much line variation as the bronze one. That's my feeling after just writing with both. But let's find out. These are the same exact nibs, though. Are they exactly the same? No. I think there's more line variation here. Let's write normal. Oops. I'm off the line. I'm off the line. One thing I like about these is you can just spin it and it's open. Spin it and it's shut. So. This one's really wet. I'm not sure why. So what do you guys think? Is it really similar? I actually think this one has slightly more line variation. This one feels a little wetter. But they are the same nib. Okay. It's always fun to experiment. These are the things I do when I am alone. I'm a fun person, aren't I? Oh, there it is. See, it's the downstroke. This one felt wetter. Now this one feels the same. So when I said the downstroke, you can go up, right? And then you pull it down, and then it gets wet, and then it goes up with you, and then down. So very fun. This is the part of the show where I forget that I'm on a show and I just start playing with my pen. I'm going to have a lot of fun with this pen. I'm also going to have to wash my hands when the show's done. So there you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've said it all. We have the bronze and the brass. I feel like I need some more metals now. I'm going to fight the urge, but are there copper? Is there copper? Is there aluminum? Can I get that, please? I think I need some more metals. Roxy, how are you? I think you're in good company. Anytime I'm with you fine people, I am in good company, and we can all share our nerdums together. Speaking of which, I'm still working on my handwriting book. Still doing my handwriting drills. Still attempting to copy people's handwritings. F. Scott Fitzgerald in this case. So we'll talk more about this later. There you go. Quite a lot of fun there. So I am also considering which pens I am taking to New York with me. And there are, thanks for the likes, guys. Appreciate it. 343 Overland. I am trying to find a sterling silver limited edition. Yeah, I saw that pen. It's pricey, but boy, is it gorgeous. That is an interesting one. I probably should have got that one back when I was really buying a lot of pens. Should have done it. Mara Christian. Hi, Mara. Always a pleasure. Copper pens are very heavy, but I love them. Right? I don't have a... Do I? No, I take it back. My Pocket 6 is made out of copper. From Ian, it's Shown Design. That's a copper pen. Maybe I'll just have them keep company. Lots of great aluminium, but no copper yet. Focus on the future. Yes, you know, the Tom Studio pen, I believe, is the one I showed last weekend. So that should be fun. So I am now sort of packing mentally for my trip. And in a couple days, I'll be packing actually. And I'm thinking about which pens I'm going to bring. And there's some I must bring. There's a few here. One is the Bronze Sport. It's new. It's coming. Plus, B-roll. Oh, guys. Can you feel the B-roll with me that I'll be able to do at the New York Public Library, at Bryant Park, in Central Park? If I go into any Art Deco building, bronze. Oh, it's going to be so intense. But that's not all. Because the Mont Blanc 146 Flex Calligraphy nib has to come as well. Because it's what I'm using to make my handwriting journal. And I'm bringing this. And part of the reason I'm bringing this is when you travel with the 6-year-old, we'll be back in the room by 7:30. So at night, I'm not going to have a lot to do. So I'm going to work on that. I'm going to read some books. I'll be able to go out and do my live probably Tuesday night because she'll be in bed. And then, I do have some friends there. Maybe I'll meet up with them some night. And I'm thinking about if any New Yorkers out there want to get a meetup going, let me know. That could work. So I'm bringing this. I'm bringing the bronze. And there's one other pen I have to bring. Does anybody know which pen that is? Which pen I have to bring to New York? I'll give you a hint. The reason we're going to New York is that my daughter wants to see the Temple of Isis at the Met. The Temple of Isis at the Met. I wish I could bring this, right? With the Temple of Isis. How cool would that be? But since I cannot bring this, I must bring the Mont Blanc Egyptomania. That's coming. Imagine the B-roll. The glorious B-roll. So I am going to be shooting quite a bit down there. I already have a bunch of scripts that I haven't filmed. So, perfect opportunity to film those. I will have time. I'll even have time to edit when my little one is in bed. Laddie gets it. Laddie knows me well, don't you? Of course you do. So let me tell you some more things. I just finished editing a video, which you guys I think are really going to like. It's another list. It's a fun one. And it's one I am uniquely qualified to... I can't reach it, you're lucky. Uniquely qualified to produce. And that is the top 5 fountain pen for preppies. So this old preppy had his day. So it's similar to the dark academia. I tell what preppyism is, how it evolved, what its roots were, briefly, how it's been really obviously prominent in my life. It's sort of my go-to clothing style, mostly because I'm lazy and I've dressed like this forever. And then I pick 5 fountain pens that fit into that aesthetic and sort of evolve out of the preparatory school scene. So I am super excited about that. And I even thought of a trend. I have a fountain pen trend I'm going to unleash as a consequence of that video, even though I thought about it after the fact. But I think I'm either going to do a separate video on it or I'm going to do it on one of the lives. But stay tuned for that. That's why you need to subscribe. If you've been watching this far and you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? It's so fun. We play with pens. We get ink on our hands. We nerd out to very, very silly things. You know, speaking of which, my daughter tonight was dancing to these songs that she loves from this movie, this Disney movie called Descendants, which evidently are the kids of all the villains from the Disney movies, like Ursula's kid and Maleficent's child, and all these, Captain Hook's kid, all of them. And it's kind of like a high school thing. They have alliances, they're fighting, they're getting together, this and that. But the music is surprisingly good. But the thing is that I had tears running down my face, and I tried to hide it because it's just so cute seeing how much she loves that show. She is such like a fan of it. She knows all the words, she's learning the dance steps, and she's so earnest and so serious about it. It's just so cute. And it sort of reminded me that never get so old that you're not overwhelmed by something you love. Whatever that is. Fountain pens, books, certain films. I still get goosebumps every time I watch Raiders of the Lost Ark. I've seen that movie 100 times, no exaggeration. But I just love it so much. Try not to lose that. Cultivate that. Be passionate about silly things. You know, it's so fun. Wolf Kate Witch. How can you tell a collector from a fountain pen user? The ink on their hands. Very, very true. Very, very true. So, here is another funny thing. But before I tell you that, I see Puppet Access. Hello, Puppet. Nice to see you. What is a preppy other than a pen? You know I'm going to say this. It's why you must tune in on, I believe it goes up July 14th to watch the video. But basically a preppy is me. Like, people who wear a lot of primary colors. But there's a whole thing to it. I think you'll enjoy it. Oh, did you hear Ophelia? What's the matter? She's meowing. Okay, so let me tell you something else really quickly. My wife bought me the coolest thing ever. She has a Nintendo Switch, and she bought me Space Harrier. Space Harrier is this video game of this little guy, and he flies around through all these different worlds, and he fires on things, and he has to clear the whole stage, and it's really challenging. It's really geometric, and it's from 1985, which was when I was around 20. Well, I was around 18 in 1985, and I played that game so much. And I'm not a video game guy. I like Mario Kart, and I like this Space Harrier game. And for years I was telling her, oh boy, I never forget those days of playing Space Harrier. And just to give you a little bit of background, there were times we had no money. And my best friend and I, this kid named Chris, lovely kid, we would take like our last $5, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and we would go on the New Jersey Turnpike just to go to the rest stop, because the rest stop had Space Harrier, and we would play for hours. And I got to the point where I could finish the game 18 levels with 3 quarters, which I can't imagine now. I'm definitely lost my skill, but I'm learning. But when I play this game now, I am 5 years old. Well, I can't be 5 years old. I had to be 18 again. I was 18 again. And it just puts me in touch with an earlier version of myself. And it just really makes me love my wife more that she just got this for me. By the way, it was $8. You know, it's not a big purchase, but it gives me so much fun and so much enjoyment. It's just so fun, so brilliant. So Google Space Harrier. There's videos of it on YouTube with people playing it. So fun, so silly. It's got this simple charm to it, and it's really optimistic. Like the whole time the game keeps telling you you're doing great. I think there's life lessons. Like it only says a few things. It says, "Welcome to the fantasy zone," which is the name of the planets. And then it says, "Get ready." And then it says, "You're doing great." And that's all it says. Because it's from 1985. So, Great Lakes Cruiser mentioned Asteroids. Now, Asteroids was the first video game I played. There was a pizza place near my house, and I would play Asteroids incessantly. Asteroids has a charm, too. I don't think that gets old. I think there's some games that don't get old. Asteroids, probably Space Invaders, and Tetris. Tetris is still fun. And then Space Harrier, I love it. But some of the other ones, like Street Fighter or even the old Mortal Kombat, those get a little dated. I don't know. I would think. But there you go. Debbie was at the arcades, right? So definitely fun. So, yeah. So a lot of lovely stuff going on. Packing for New York. We're going to pack light. We're taking the train. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to the Met. We're going to the Morgan Library. We're going to a few other museums. I think my daughter wants to see the Statue of Liberty. I don't really want to see it, but she wants to, so we're going to see it. Definitely going to see it. She can inspire us to do things. I mean, we're going to New York because she wanted to go. And strangely, my wife and I have never been to New York together. Reminds me of this funny joke. I think it's funny. And it's about cats, too. So it'll sort of bring everything full circle. And it's, my wife wanted to get a cat. I didn't want a cat. And so we compromised. And we got a cat. I think that's how it should be in marriage when something's that important to you. Now, I love my cat, so it doesn't really apply to me, but I still think it's funny. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's now hit the top of the hour, so if you've watched this long, please consider subscribing or joining the channel. You must be a fan of this merry group of people that meet every Tuesday night and discuss pens, fountain pens, inks, journals, journaling. Lots of different topics on this channel. We explore a lot of different places. Allie J's a fan of the train. Me too. That's mostly because my daughter gets car sick. And I want this to be nice and gentle. And we have a place where we can park, take the train down, and then settle in for the week. Very low stress. That's what we're trying. Scott is a new subscriber. Let's all welcome Scott Parton, new subscriber. First time catching a live. Thank you for the information and fun. Scott, thank you for being here. Without you guys, channel doesn't exist. So thank you and welcome. Happy to have you here. It's a lot of fun. Tuesday nights are special to me. I do everything I can to make these. And when I can't make them, I either pre-record something or I try to think of something else. So a lot of good stuff. Good stuff coming up. My video on Friday are my top 5 mac and cheese fountain pens. The thumbnail is super fun. It's a bowl of mac and cheese with a fountain pen in it and me in front of it going 5 for 5. Now, I haven't watched this in a while, but knowing me, whenever I say top 5, there's usually like 7. And sometimes people don't notice. I think it's funny sometimes to just put up more. And even a couple times I think things were misnumbered. Nobody notices. So check it on Friday. See if you can catch me in an error. Sometimes I do halves. 3.5. 3.5 pens for Huga. Why not? Yeah, everyone welcome Scott. Get him a beanie and a Speedo. Do you guys know Steve Zissou? You know I'm a Wes Anderson fan, obviously. That's why I did the Wes Anderson video. Watch it if you haven't seen it, please. I'm so proud of that one. Wes Anderson's one of my favorite directors. I think French Dispatch is nearly perfect. Even though it took like 3 viewings for me to get it. But I really get it now. I just really like it. I find it very affecting. Really like his stuff. I think sometimes the wrong directors are celebrated too much. Like, I was going to do unpopular opinions a couple weeks ago, and I didn't get around to it because we got busy doing something else. But one of my unpopular opinions is I think Quentin Tarantino is horrifically overrated as a director. I think Reservoir Dogs is a fantastic film. It's got a great rawness to it, and I love how a lot of it's like French New Wave cinema. I really like Reservoir Dogs. Pulp Fiction's almost perfect. It is. You can't take that away from him. Then he made Jackie Brown, which was a very straightforward, almost like Martin Scorsese style film. And it showed to me that he was starting to mature, I thought, even though I wasn't super enamored of it. And then after that, he's just been doing genre films, which, in my opinion, some of them are watchable, some of them are unwatchable. And I just don't care. I don't care about it. I think it's mostly garbage. And I think if Harvey Weinstein wasn't promoting and bankrolling him, he wouldn't be who he is. So that's my unpopular opinion. Hopefully I'm not alienating too many of you. So, Andrew disagrees on the Lamy 2000, why I'll never get it. Andrew, let me just say one thing about the Lamy 2000. There's a Lamy flagship store in New York City. If I go in there, it could be dangerous. It could be dangerous. Because then you start to rationalize. You start to say, well, I'm in New York. I won't have this chance again. I should get a pen. I don't want to get a Safari. I think I'll get something a little... Maybe I'll get the 2000. And this is where I get in trouble, guys. This is where I personally get in trouble. I start to say stuff like, and my wife will tell you, she can quote me. I'll say, it would be good for the channel. And as soon as I say that, it's over. It's the perfect rationalization. Like, I'm not buying it for me. It's so I can do a video on it. It's totally altruistic. So, yeah, it's possible. But not likely. But it's possible. Let's see. LAJ says, Jackie Brown was the last one I watched. He lost me after that. Yeah, well, I don't think you missed anything. I don't think you missed anything. So, lots of fun We've got a big trip coming up. Awesome B-roll. Fantastic lineup of videos coming out. A lot of ideas. The editing's getting better. I think the channel's getting better. Getting a lot of good inspirational voices in the comments. A lot of interesting stuff. A lot of really good feedback. And I read almost every comment. I think you guys know that. So keep the comments coming. Comment on this. Roxy says, I might get in trouble if I go to Atlas when I'm in Chicago next month. You might. I need to go to Atlas. So on one of these weekends, I'm going to fly to Chicago. Anyway. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're at the end of a long journey. I think an hour is about good for these, and we're a little over, but we had a great time, didn't we? Didn't we learn a lot? I think so much. Besides, I have to go because Tom is trying to get me to buy an expensive watch. I see you, Tom, with the IWC and the Panerai. Yeah, Panerai for the channel. I'd be a Paneristi. That might be good for me. But I only have one wrist, and the Rolex is pretty firmly attached. But anyway, love you all. Thank you so much for watching. New video on Friday. And I'll see you next week from New York in some way, shape, or form. I don't even know how yet. So thank you all for the likes, for the super chats, for the great conversation. Promise we'll see each other further up the road. Everyone, take care.